Okay, I'm back at it again, if you can believe it. I'm here with one of what I'm going to call my antique buying friend because I have purchased with Charles Hamlin in the past of Mayfair Antiques, and he has an amazing collection of interesting collectibles and true antiques within what he brings to the Nashville Antique Show year after year. So thank you so much for doing this interview with me today.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, and the one thing, when we were kind of reconnecting again, it was exciting to hear of all the people that have been your previous clients because it's exciting to be associated with you knowing all these other people that you are vendors for. So,
yeah, it definitely helps your confidence that you get a little, buyback from customers, former customers, and always some new ones, and this show's a great place for that.
Yeah, that is awesome. I was wondering, would you be willing to share some of those names with some of our viewers because it's kind of fun for me.
Right. Last year we had Michael Smith that was doing the White House. He was the show speaker last year.
Yes.
And he's one of my customers. He does a lot of jobs. He's really well known. And
he did the White House. When he says the White House, he means for the Obamas.
That's right.
That's right.
So he was here, and then we had Charlotte Moss this year, and so all those, those are, the really top of the heap when it comes to designers. They're the really good ones, and this show is really, really good for that.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that I just love is that it's always something different every year. You have a different appeal. And you have two locations really that you primarily work out of.
Right.
And so you have a little bit of that style and flavor that you bring to the mix.
Right. And that's what makes this show fun too, because they have a lot of, earlier things, but then all the way up to like the 50s and 60s modern. And so that blend makes it fun where it's not so unapproachable. It makes it a little more fun. And the gardens here are incredible. I mean, the show in general is it's really, really spectacular.
So one thing that when I was drawn to your booth originally was all the Art Deco stuff that you had.
Right.
And I had
like
these
the chairs
beautiful,
you bought.
Yes, I just had these beautiful orange mohair chairs. Thank you very much for bringing.
Right.
And this year you also have another nice mix of console tables and some secretaries. And where would you? I mean, typically I would see these specific items that you bring to the show in a Miranda magazine. I mean, what other magazines are some of your products featured in?
Right. I think everywhere from Elvis Works, I have a little bit of modern too from the 60s and stuff, and so that edgier stuff is great to have around some of the antiques because it kind of tones it down. It doesn't make it all so serious. So that blend, I really try to do that blend, and especially within design jobs too, modern paintings from the 50s and 60s. So, and I think that just takes the edge off, it being so austere.
Yeah, exactly. And that is that's it, is that, well, it does take a little bit of experience to be able to do a good mix between old and new. I mean, there is a little bit of a skill that comes with that.
Right.
But once you've mastered that skill, it really puts the fun and the flair and the approachability into being able to live with the antiques and really understand and own them because they're just things.
Right.
And they're meant to be used.
Yeah, and you just learn a little bit about history, and then, especially with the blend, with the modern, with the antiques, is that what you recognize is typically on a job, the company will have guests, and from each time period, someone will pick out something they remember seeing, So that's fun in itself too, because someone might say, "Oh, I remember that from the '60s. My parents had one of these," So I love when that happens.
Yeah, exactly. So it is it's kind of like in women's fashion back in the day when women wore business suits and then the conversation piece was the pin.
Right.
And in this case, it's either the chair
right.
or the color that you picked and the painting or your rug that you chose at that time as well.
Right. I like that you chose that because this business is a lot like the fashion industry. Some things that go out come back in, and I really feel like in a lot of dealers, I really focus in on trying to keep, one step ahead to make it a little edgy. And so it does have a very, very easy parallel to make in the fashion industry, this business.
Well, I know that as I'm trying to create this excitement for myself, I would love for some of my fans to become some of your fans. So how would we make that happen? We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. How do we do
We're on
that?
Facebook, YouTube, Twitter.
Okay, and is it Mayfair Antiques? Is that what
Mayfair Antiques,
Okay.
Charles Hanlon, and also the site you and I were talking about, Constant Contact. So I think all those type of social media networks, I think the more you get out there, the better it is for you.
Well, I completely agree because I am a fan of yours. I'm a fan of your products.
Thank you.
And I know a lot of people are too. But I also kind of like that whole bird of a feather flock together.
Right.
I know that I have a good eye for quality and style the same way you do. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much for this interview.
I still remember those chairs. They're incredible.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
and
so
I
much.
can't wait for all of you to have as much fun as I do. All right.
Thank you.